second question of all of our comments from the writer's block video. Second one is this: what I do for off-season prep. Okay, I'm doing this in the shade too because man, it is like 100 degrees out here and I ain't doing it in the sun. Off-season prep. My off-season is 2 seasons. One of them is right now, middle of the summer, August. Back in the day, I used to fish all through August. We had a lot of tournaments back then. I don't think we have them much now. I think fish preservation probably stopped a lot of them. People didn't want to fish in the heat. I used to love fishing in August, man. We used to do a lot of cool stuff. But now I don't have a single tournament in August. So I have a little bit of time here, and what I'm going to do is usually get my fall. Usually I have like a little break in the summertime, and then my fall tournaments start up. They're usually the end of the Opens, Toyota Championships. Right now it's a Brandon Belt Championship. It's usually like all of our championships and maybe like an existing event, like the last event of a series. The fall is usually way different than the summer. So usually what I'm doing is like from the spring, you know, we transition from the winter, pre-spawn, spawn, post-spawn, and then right into the summertime a little bit like this, that beginning. So by the time this starts, my garage is an absolute mess. My tackle's a mess. Everything's pretty bad. What I'll say is this: it's usually so hot to get everything messing around with that, man, I gotta choose like my days carefully. Usually like really in the early in the morning or like at night, and I'll start messing with stuff. What I do is this. Here's what'll happen. This is my off-season prep. I don't really worry about the boat too much because usually I never know when I'm going to get rid of my boat or keep my boat or things like that. My boat's freaking in, when I say immaculate shape, it has been perfect. So like I don't have to mess with my boat. I'm not changing anything on my boat. The only thing I might do, I got one thing that I might or might not do, and I don't even know if I'm going to do that. And it might be getting another transducer for my live scope. I'm not saying I'm going to run 2. I just don't know. I might get an extra one just in case something happens. I don't know. The championship on the line, I'm traveling around a lot. I might get something like that. Other than that, my boat's great. Tackle, what I'll start doing, especially in the summertime as it gets hot, I do my line differently, like changing line. And so that's usually my rods and reels, they're all perfect. I don't have to worry about that. So really it's just a line thing, right? I'm gonna change line. What I usually do, and this is how I've always done it, I don't change all my line every year, okay? Sometimes I go practicing with stuff, or usually what I'm doing is practicing for an event. So what I usually do is I don't know what I'm gonna do when I get to an event. So my next event is Choke Canyon, okay, for the Brandon Belt Championship. I don't know what I'm gonna do there. So I bring all my stuff, everything. And then when I get there, I'm practicing. So I'm not worried about if I accidentally break off or lose a fish. Like I might not even have everything set up exactly how I want it because I'm just changing and I'm trying to figure things out. So what'll happen is like all of a sudden I'll get a game plan. I'll probably have like 8 or 10, like I'm going to throw this. And for a championship like that, and if I haven't fished for a couple months, I'll change all my line out that I'm going to use for that tournament, right? And then I have other stuff that's like maybes, and I'll kind of just look at the line and see what's going on. But that's really it. That's all I'm doing. This time of the year, I'm messing with some baits and I'm learning some things in the summertime. And this will give me an opportunity to go mess around fishing, just practice fun fishing. And when I say fun fishing, my fun fishing might not be like everyone else's. My fun fishing is more like what I consider fun is going and learning something new. So that's my fun fishing. It's not going out there and catching a bunch of fish. Like it's great if I do, but that's not what I consider fun fishing. So I'm gonna go do that over the next month. I've got October off. So in years past, October is my 1 month that is my most busiest. I have almost nothing in October. Like a little bit at the very beginning, like the first day or two, and then I think the last couple of days starting for the Toyota Championship. So I love October fishing. I don't care much about hunting too much. I'll go dove hunting and stuff, but I don't care much about the other hunts. So like I'm excited as can be to go. Actually, I'm gonna kind of combine my August and October and of like learning some stuff, because a lot of neat stuff happens in August and in October. I kind of like sometimes fishing in the hard months, what people consider hard months, because I think you can learn some things in those months. I also like fishing in December because it's really good. So after my Toyota Championship, I basically got November and December and parts of January. And that's my, like everyone else is, if you'll see all these guys going, okay, season's over, I'm about to go hit the woods. I don't hit the woods. I hit the lake. That's still what I'll go do. I don't care about that. So that's where my main prep goes. So what I'll do is I'll get in my garage, because I travel with so much stuff, it just gets unorganized. No matter how much, I don't have enough room. I don't have enough. I get more and more boxes of stuff, along with the Strike King thing and the innovation thing. I'm messing with that. And I'm messing with that throughout the year, so I get that scattered out depending on what's going on. I would like to say I'm somewhat organized when I travel, but then when I come back here, a lot of times I'm coming back here and I have a limited amount of time here, so I honestly don't mess around too much with stuff. I will come like November, that garage, everything will be put in place. And my off-season prep is this: I look at where the industry's going, right? Wherever the industry's going, I'm going. Wherever the industry's going, right? Or new things that I start to see. I have my own things that I want to work on. I have my own things that work for me here, right, locally. So I wouldn't say that's my first concern, but it is kind of my first concern because of this reason. If I can't catch them locally, then it's very hard for me to go somewhere else and catch them. Get on out of here, messing up my video. My wife's going back to work. I look at the off seasons in this, and this is could be the most fun part about the entire season, is my off days of getting stuff ready. And all I do is this: every single day I go, it's a learning deal. That's all I ever do. I give these seminars, right? And when I talk to people and do these seminars, and we have a bunch of Q&As with people, and I hear things from people, it always amazes me. And I understand this, don't get me wrong. So I'm going to speak very calmly so I don't come off too aggressive, okay? Everyone wants to learn all this stuff in bass fishing. Very rarely do people want to go put in the time to really learn something. Most people in fishing, and I get it, they relate back to their ways, the ways that they're comfortable, whether that be throwing a worm out there, going around throwing a crankbait, all these things. Like, if I'm good at something, I'm really gonna go do that on my off days, ever. So I've made a couple of videos, like the one rod challenge and things, and I can't believe they haven't taken off, because I'm like, that's really what I do. I need to do more of them. I do them all the time. I just don't kind of like necessarily record them as one rod challenge, but I usually have, maybe it's like 2 to 3 rods, but I'll take things I've seen from over the years, or over this year. So I'll take things I've seen over this year, whether it be patterns, whether it be with electronics, whether it be, you know, I spend a lot of time with a spinning rod. I spend a lot of time doing things. I'll take what they do and then I apply it to how it can work for myself, or things that I saw what happened this year to me. And I'm like, man, I got to get better at that. Or I'm always thinking of new ideas on how to, like I said, make something that it doesn't always work, but like I'll see something. Like one time when I went to Kentucky Lake and any of those TVA lakes, I would try to bring some of that stuff back here. It didn't always work, okay? But over time, I've started to understand why it didn't work and things like that. So when I went to Ross Barnett I'll try to bring a little bit of Ross Barnett back home and things like that, because really what happens is I brought a lot of home to Ross Barnett and was able to catch them. Same thing with Eufaula, right? I brought a lot of what was back home or what I've always known and bring it to Eufaula. Sometimes in some of these events, a long time ago, and I have to retrain my brain, but I'll bring a lot of that stuff from lakes like in Arkansas, when we were fishing the Cup, and all these other places, Smith Lake, and I'll bring that back to my home lakes where I would never have tried that. I didn't even think about that would work. And I had to sit back on my home lake and go, oh, wait a minute. Here's where everyone fishes. I would never even think about doing something like this. And I started this about 3 years ago. I'm like, what? Okay, would this work here? And I would try it. And I promise you, there's some places on Rayburn that I don't think anyone's ever caught a fish. And what I mean by that is like certain banks, and the way I'm fishing, I know for a fact, I don't think anyone's ever caught a fish in their entire lives on some of these banks doing what I was doing. And that's a bold statement, and I'll stick by that bold statement, I promise. So that's what I consider prep for the next year. That's the most fun thing ever, to be honest with you guys, is doing that, because I learned so much, and then my confidence level goes up. I urge all of y'all, if you really want to do that, and I know it's hard because maybe you don't get to fish as much as you would like to, and you don't get to, like when you go out there, you want to catch them. I think that's the number one setback for everyone, is that there's this thing that they want to catch them, gets in the way of them learning, okay? Because it's so hard to sit out there, right, and say, I know I could probably go catch them that way, but I'm gonna try to learn this way. However, this is what I'll say. When you do figure it out, that different thing, from whatever it is, and I think it's mainly because it's a no pressure thing and people have never done it and that lake's never seen it. It's like bringing out a whole new bait that no one's ever seen before and doing it. When you figure it out, it's lights out on your lake, lights out. Like you can go around and just smash on fish, and you usually can do it around in that area. That's what I've done over the past couple years. This last year, maybe more than ever, which has made me want to go back out there even more this next year. I've got like 3 things, only 3, but I've got 3 at the moment right now that I cannot wait to go try and do. I'm gonna go do one of them this week. A little bit that too is with Strike King stuff and the innovation stuff, but really if I can leave that out of it, it's really just things I've looked at and go, okay, how can I apply that to me? Because what they do up north on smallmouth fishing, granted, I'm not saying it doesn't work down here. You just have to change it up a little bit. That's my prep stuff. My boat and everything, I'll go fishing. So we don't have like this hard winter where we have to put our boats up and not go fishing. So I mean, my boat's still the same. I'll still use it like a couple times a week. I haven't used it in like 3 weeks, but I'm just saying I'll use it a bunch when the weather's right. Other than that, I don't go through there and change hooks and do all these different things. I care more about on the water stuff prep than I do at home prep, right? I'll get everything organized. That's all I want, because I've done so much how do I say that? I've done so better at learning things and getting things ready on the water than inside that garage. I have good ideas in the garage and all that stuff, and then I get out on the water and it's not that good. So a lot of times I bring my garage with me, right? Which means I'll bring things, like I'll bring tools, I'll bring stuff, and I'll mess around on the water because I want to see my bait in the water. 9 times out of 10, I want to see, once my bait's in the water, I'm one of those guys, like, if it gets close, I'm going fishing. I don't know how anyone would do it in a pool. It would drive me crazy to get something working the right way and then have to wait to go to the lake. So that's what I would say. It's an organization thing for me. I get everything organized, but it's really what's going on in my head and how do I apply it out on the water. and then I'm always thinking of new things. That's what I would take away from my prep, is I'm always trying to learn something new. Always. I don't watch YouTube videos and I don't watch these elite events. I can see something for about 30 seconds, talk about it, think about it, and go, okay, so he's doing this. I understand maybe a little bit what that's about, and I'm gonna go try it on my own. So a lot of times I'll figure something out that's not really like what they're doing. I'll find out later it's not really what they were doing, but I took little things what they were doing and put them together to what, in my knowledge of what I understand about baits. So a lot of times what they are doing is not what I'm doing. I just change. I just want a small detail of an idea, right? Just a one little light bulb to go off, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then that's how I even create baits, right? I just need, sometimes I don't need to look at a bait. Like, I don't go around looking at baits or like get on Tackle Warehouse and go through. I don't do that. So a lot of times and it does get me, that I'll be coming up with a bait or an idea and someone will be like, hey, they got that already. I'm like, okay, cool. And so I'll keep going through stuff, and because really if all I did was know that many baits, that's not product innovation. I think your mind goes to instantly trying to copy something. So I kind of try to stay away from that. I don't really want to know about a bunch of baits. I want to think about concepts and ideas and then make a bait to fit that. So I know I got into bait innovation, but that's where I'm looking at. And so you asked me to, right, guys, when I started all this, I said I was going to answer all these honestly. This is what goes through my head, right? So I'm going to give honest answers on all these, as always. That's to me what I consider prep. Sitting around tinkering with stuff and things like that, never been one of those guys. I don't know, it's not that big of a thing for me. I like totally new stuff. That comes from up here. And so that's what I would say is what I do in my off season to get geared up for next year. There's a little part in there about getting the boat ready. That's kind of a different question, and I was already planning on doing a whole boat video, so I'm going to do that too. I know that's kind of in there, but I want to focus just solely on my boat when I do that. So that, I'm not saying that's going to be the next video, but it's going to be coming up pretty soon, promise. All right, till next time, guys. I'll look at the next question. It'll be coming up soon. See ya.